Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome. Hi. I'm here today with a very much needed, more lighthearted message. At least I feel like it. We've been working so hard, and if you've been following my channel, my videos, the last few weeks, like everything was about shedding, letting go, moving into what's next, but it was very much with this shadowy underworld energy. For myself, I've been working in a lot of really deep, dark underworld spaces, a lot of shadow work, and at some point I felt like, oof, this is just so heavy. And there is, like, every now and then there would, like, little sparks of a more lighthearted, more playful, magical energy come through. But it wasn't for long. Like, it felt like, okay, just come up, take one deep breath of this a little bit more lighter energy, and then let's go back down. And I feel like this energy has reached its tipping point. I'm not saying that there is not anything coming up for releasing, or maybe a little bit of shadow work. I can only speak for myself, but I think I don't know a life without shadow work. So, but yeah, like when you dwell a lot in those really deeper, shadowy spaces, like I said, it can feel very heavy at some point. And now, also the weather is changing where I live. It feels more like spring already. It's getting a little bit warmer. I just went to the park earlier and sat there with my journal, and I had some coffee and watching the birds and the squirrels, and just sitting there and journaling. And it's so nice to being able to do that after the winter, because of course I sometimes would also sit in the park in winter, but it was always cold, and it doesn't feel as easygoing and lighthearted as it did today. So I feel like this is the overall energy that we are moving into. And yes, we are approaching spring, at least in the northern hemisphere. But yeah, it feels like this more joyful, playful, again, lightheartedness. This word keeps coming up. Lightheartedness. So this seems like this is what we are moving into. What I wanted to, like, there is something I wanted to dig a little deeper today, because I recorded a bunch of messages yesterday, and one of them was with two very powerful ancient feminine energies. You could call them goddesses. Like they presented themselves as the goddess Isis and Hecate. And at the very end of the message, the last card that came up was this one, Divine Mother Manifests. And I actually wanted to go deeper into this card, or the meaning of this card, or let's say like the act of feminine manifestation, because there actually are different ways of manifesting. And I myself don't vibe with the, you could say, like more masculine approach to manifesting, which is the one that is mostly taught. And I always felt like my greatest manifestations were happening when I was in a very, again, lighthearted, easygoing, like flowing state, and very much in my feminine energy, which makes total sense, right? Like when you are in your feminine energy and you are this magnetic being, then everything flows just to you, and you don't have to force it. You don't have to will it into being. And of course, we do need the masculine aspect as well, because we need the focus for our manifestations. But I realized that I would always fall back into a certain energy that was not supporting this way of being, this manifesting flow. And that was when I was tipping over too much into my masculine energy. And my masculine tends to be very much it's very driven, and it can become quite pushy. And this would always result in suddenly like everything stopping, nothing coming in anymore, like the feminine, my inner feminine being pushed into overworking herself. And of course, I'm talking about energy here. So this has nothing to do with gender. This is energy I'm talking about. So this feminine aspect of mine would basically lose its magnetic energy. And this created like a huge internal conflict for me. Because when I think about the vision that I have, or like the life I want to create, the things I want to create in my life, I'm always struggling to like really focus on goals. And while I was sitting in the park earlier, I had this epiphany about, to be honest, I couldn't care less about goals. I just don't care about them or care for them. It's just, I don't care for status. I don't care for, like I said, achieving goals. I used to, but I did that out of lack of self-worth, because I thought like I had to achieve goals in order to prove something to myself and to others, and prove my worth through achieving goals. But that's just not who I am anymore. And I wasn't happy. Like when I was in that kind of energy, I was I was successful. I was achieving a lot, but I was miserable while doing it. So there was this breaking point in my life where I realized this is, for one, something that doesn't make me happy. It goes against who I am and like the way of life I actually enjoy and I want to create for myself. And it's also not sustainable. So, and at the same time, I also realized when I came more in contact with spiritual concepts and manifesting and all of those things, there was always something that felt not wrong to me. Yeah, it felt like, well, not for me. This is not how I actually create my best work, because I experienced, sometimes I would experience how I could just easily manifest, but that was never from this deliberately focused state of mind. It wasn't really from the headspace. Like the manifestation didn't really flow from my mind. It came from my heart space. It came from here. And if you look at this card again, you see that her heart space, for one, like the green color is really jumping out on me. And green is the color of the heart space. And the heart space is glowing. It's lit up. And you can see that there is also a little bit of yellow in there. And yellow is the solar plexus energy, which is more this forward movement, driving willfulness, power. And like you could say more like the masculine aspect. So we do need that. We do need the focus, and we also do need the will. But the kind of manifestation that I, for myself, realized that really works for me is more on the heart-centered approach. And it's less about willing things into being. It's less about controlling and micromanaging my manifestations. So, like I said, when I sat in the park earlier, I realized I don't really care about goals. What I care about is a state of being and a way I want to flow through life. So when I look into into the future, what I see for myself, I'm always having trouble pinpointing, like I said, certain goals or anything that I want to focus on. And instead, I will see flashes of images that more have it's more like a vibe. I see a vibe, and I know how I want to feel. And like I said, my experience is that when I focus on those kinds of visions that I sometimes have, the manifestation is just flowing in, and the universe just makes everything happen for me without me micromanaging on how this is going to happen. Yeah, so that's just, for me, this is That's interesting. Suddenly there is something shifting. I don't have any words. What's happening? It feels as if something was like coming in and hijacking this flow. There's a subtle layer of sadness. It's escaping again. That's really interesting. There was another video I posted a few weeks ago. That was something like titled, okay, like it's something is escaping into the void or into the. And I was talking about an energy that was like a black hole that was just like retrieving the moment you start to focus on it. And I said I did a lot of shadow work over the last few weeks, and I was working with different aspects of those kinds of energies. There were actually like several that I had to sniff out. Beliefs or wounded aspects, like residual energy that was just still there, and you just had to find it and expose it. But it wasn't easy to expose it. It wasn't easy to detect it because it had this shapeshifty energy about it, and it would always retrieve like the moment you focus on it. So you had to approach it from like through the back door. Yeah, that was the last one. I heard like you have to go through the back door. I was working a lot with dreams. My guides were sending me a lot of messages through my dreams. But yeah, there's something I also can feel my throat. Like, and a tension here in my neck space. I really wanted this to be a lighthearted reading. And whoops, there it is again. It almost feels like, okay, so this is part of the message, like you just want it to be lighthearted. You just want to, like, you want it to be flowing, and then something comes in and interrupts this beautiful flow. Like you are just vibing, riding your own energy high, and then whoop, something comes in and it's just hijacking you, and you feel like you're thrown off guard and you're thrown out of your center and dragged down. This tension in my neck, that's no joke. It's almost making me nauseous. Nauseous? Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, Spirit, what am I supposed to bring through with this? What is this wanting to show us? Like, what can we do about this? I feel a little bit of like an energy of I just don't know what else to do. Like I've tried everything. What else is there to do? I don't know. Also a little bit of frustration with this. Like I said, like you're riding the wave and then something comes in and just like you're thrown off your board, your surfboard. And you find yourself back in the water and like struggling, coming up for air. We had this image before, like this coming up for air. How much longer do I have to do that? Something I hear. My throat chakra is feeling very tense. Like I said, the neck. There's something about self-expression, because I'm looking at my artsy stuff that's like lying over there, and I see some splashes of color. Something about unique self-expression. And this hijacking. Okay, so they are bringing me back to what I said earlier, like what I shared about my masculine energy that would come in and suppress. That's not even completely true. Like the masculine wouldn't completely suppress the feminine, but what this I'm sorry, now I'm hung up on the pronouns. That's super weird. I was like, should I say he? Should I say it? That's weird. Okay, so there's like this restriction about expressing myself freely because of this overthinking energy. Okay, this overthinking about how should I say it? Like, can I say it like that? Will somebody be offended? Is this the way to phrase it? Or can I just let it flow and come out? And so the feminine, for one, is afraid to just flow freely because of all the expectations and restrictions and fears and worries that she's afraid of attracting. She's afraid of calling in some kind of negative reaction. She's really trying to make everything right, being overly perfectionistic. And by that, she's trying to not get hurt, to not feel hurt, and the pain of being criticized. So that's one side of the story. And like the other layer of like what's coming through is the masculine actually, like, by having certain goals, is trying to use the feminine energy in order to achieve those goals. And I keep hearing the word exploiting the energy. So this might be something that's maybe the feminine feels like. It's like, you're just gonna exploit my force, like my energy. You're just gonna use it. You just for your ego, you're gonna use it for your ego-driven goals. So this seems to be something that you should be aware of, that that there is, I'm not saying that you are that kind of person, but there might be a part inside of you that is more on the masculine side of things, that is trying to use the feminine. Oh, okay. That's basically the old way of manifesting, or like how it's being taught. It's like manipulating reality and exploiting, forcing the feminine energy into what the ego wants. No, and I feel, whew, now I feel there is some feminine rage here. Some serious feminine rage. Like the divine feminine energy. She's angry. She's really angry about that. And she is, in order to protect the sacredness of her creational abilities, like the sacredness of her energy, like this divine feminine force that is able to create. There's I don't know, like, is it her? There's something, a part of you, maybe it is her, like the divine feminine herself, or it is an aspect of you that's associated more with like the feminine, like with the feminine archetype. There's some kind of there's a I want to say warden, but that's not the right word. It's like a keeper. All right, I had to look it up. Sometimes when I don't like remember the exact English word that I want to use, this is like throwing me off center, and then I'm having a hard time. So warden was actually not even that wrong, but what I mean is actually like a guard. There's some aspect, some archetype, someone guarding or something guarding this incredibly sacred part of yours. That is this. You see how she's holding her hands around that glowing light? Like she's holding it, but she's also protecting it. She's safekeeping it. This is the divine spark. This is the creational energy. And this can and may only be used for divine purposes and not for ego-driven goals. And the way that manifestation is taught in the broader sense and in the greater collective is a way to use that creation energy for ego-driven purposes. And I've experienced that in my own journey, that whenever I would try to use those kinds of manifesting tools or to force certain manifestations into being, this inner feminine, like this creation energy, got shut down. So there is like I said, there is some kind of guard that is safekeeping your unique inner spark, creational spark, this creation energy, and it's protecting it. And I don't say that it's protecting it from the masculine, because the divine masculine in its highest form knows to honor this energy. It's mostly like the ego-driven world and the ego-driven self that is trying to misuse this very, very powerful energy. So, what else? What else do you... I can tell that there is like this whole feminine collective. It's like archetypes, like feminine archetypes are here. They're like this. They're all standing behind me. This really, really powerful force. And yeah, they have this protection vibe. So what else? What do you want us to know? What do you want to say? I'm holding my deck of cards. I've been holding it for like 20 minutes. And oh, beautiful. Okay, so there's the Queen of Swords on the my words. Oh. I love the feminine energy, but when I'm channeling feminine energy, my words are just not wording. Bottom. At the bottom of the deck, there's the Queen of Swords. Sorry. And the Queen of Swords, it's such a beautiful energy. It's like, some call her the bitch of the tarot, but I don't agree. I do not agree. She knows her boundaries and she knows what it's worth fighting for. You see how she's like, I don't know if YouTube's... So, I'm covering her up. You see how she's holding this head. And this just reminds me of the Queen from Alice in Wonderland. I don't know, was in all the films? I don't remember. But this, like, where she just wants to behead everybody. So this is the toxic version of the Queen of Swords, like, where she's just like going around and just like stabbing everyone, just beheading everyone, biting everyone's head off. But the more evolved, the matured and divine expression of that archetype, she is just, for one, she doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks of her. She knows her worth. She knows her truth, which is sword energy. She knows her truth. And she knows what it's worth fighting for. She doesn't give a shit about what anybody else thinks or believes. Not in a way of like that she's not open to learn. But she has gone through so many lessons that she just knows what, when to be open and to receive, and when to just stand her ground. And I see her like pulling up those the bridges within castles that you just can just like pull in. She's like, no, I don't want you to come in, and I don't care what you think about that. This is just my truth. So this is basically what's happening. Like, there's this treasure inside the castle, and the Queen of Swords sitting on the throne, and she's saying like, yeah, you can come in and work with that if you have the highest intentions, if you're working out of alignment with your highest intention, with your soul's purpose, which is the purpose for the all of everything, which is in the highest interest of the all of everything, not just your ego. If you come here and you want to use my beautiful treasure that I'm safekeeping, I'm just gonna pull up the bridge and you will be sitting out there, and there's no way of you coming in. And if you try, I will behead you. And believe me, I will. So, so they're saying this might be something. There's not really something they want you to like tell you what to do or how to work with that. They want you to be aware of this dynamic, of this energy dynamic, of the treasure you have inside, and of this dynamic that when like the ego is going into a certain ego-driven, I keep calling it like goal-driven energy, there's something just pulling the bridge up. And that is when you might experience this as a writer's block, or not having the drive to create anything or to paint, or whatever it is that you want to channel this life force energy into, because that's what it is, life force energy. I'm just realizing I haven't called it that before, but that's basically it. Whenever you want to channel it into something and you realize it's getting blocked and you have no drive, you feel tired, there's just nothing happening for you in terms of feeling lit up or feeling joy, and this, like, again, this easygoing, lighthearted approach, just flowing with it. They want you to observe and to see if there is some kind of power dynamic going on. They're calling it a power dynamic, where a part of you is trying to utilize this life force energy in order to achieve something, force something into being that is not aligned or divinely guided, or for just like the highest purpose. And this kind of sounds very I don't know. You might be thinking, like, come on, do I really have to, like, in every moment live from, like, the highest purpose? And yeah, kind of. But this sounds way more I keep hearing aloof. It's not that sophisticated, really. It can be okay. They are bringing, like, I love my morning coffee, and I just love like the process of making this coffee, and just like taking this. It's like 10-15 minutes in the morning. This is like a little sanctuary for me. And I think I love the process of making my coffee, maybe even more than the coffee itself. So this is a very basic, everyday thing that I do. But it comes from this very much aligned inner drive, motivation. And so they're saying, like, it doesn't always have to look like this huge thing, like this, wow. You know, it sounds so grandiose, like this. I'm always creating from my highest purpose or my highest alignment. This can simply mean, like, slowing down and really, really enjoying making your morning coffee and honoring it as this little beautiful ritual that just gives you energy for the rest of the day. Like, it can have so many faces and so many different expressions. But yeah, when you realize, and this can be from, I don't know, doing chores to creating something, working on something, whenever you feel resistance, whenever you feel like you are cut off from this life force energy, stop and look at yourself and look if there is something, like, what part of yourself is trying to force something, or maybe fence something in, or like utilizing this life force energies of yours in order to push something through, achieve something. And I'm hearing, like, it doesn't always have to be pushy. It can also be rigid. Like, everything that is not just holding this open and honoring container, but everything that is trying to box this feminine energy in, this life force energy in, and, like I said, use it for a certain outcome, a certain goal, achievements, that's when your life force energy just like whoop, stops and the bridge goes up. And you're sitting there depleted, exhausted, tired, and you don't know where the spark has gone that has been there maybe just 5 minutes before. So, yeah, I feel like that's it. That's it. So that's beautiful. That's very insightful, to be honest. I mean, I've worked with those parts before, and I've seen this power dynamic before, but I hadn't like this with this clarity. Yeah, it's really for me those messages, those videos that I'm creating. They're always bringing a lot of clarity and insights for me too. So, yeah, I thank you for being here, for staying with me until the end if you're still here. Co-creating this video and this space because your energy is in here as a very important part of this whole co-creational process. I thank Spirit and the beautiful feminine energy that's present here. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. And if it feels aligned for you, maybe you'd like to give this video a thumbs up or maybe even leave a subscription. I would be very, very happy to welcome you in this space. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. I wish you all the best with this and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.